International Champions Cup, Gareth Bale, 15 feet Real Madrid 2-0 Roma International Champions Cup, Marco Asensio, 2 feet Real Madrid 1-0 Roma EAST Rutherford, NJ. It's always hard to divine much from pre-season, especially one that's truncated by players away on post-World Cup vacations, extreme amounts of air travel and the need to be mindful about easing back into action after weeks away. Young talent often gets the bulk of the playing time to show whether they belong in the first-team squad or out on loan for the season. Endless subs make it dizzying to track who's playing, and how well. But one player who's very much been central to Real's summer is Gareth Bale. With Cristiano Ronaldo out of town and hunting for fresh accolades with Juventus, the Welsh Galactica remains with the Spanish Giants, and after a season of speculation about his future, all seems clear. He's here to stay and he's ready to make this Real Madrid team his own. It's vital that they let him, too. While the incandescent skill of Marco Asensio, Isco, Luka Modric and Toni Kroos will continue to drive Los Blancos forward in 2018-19, Bale is emerging from beneath a cloud of injuries and mystery to show that he ought to be the one behind the wheel. The center-forward spot, currently kept warm by Karim Benzema, could be his. Either of the wing spots are available, too. It's seemingly up to him as to what he wants to do. Watching him in the first half of Tuesday night's 2-1 victory over AS Roma in the International Champions Cup, in which he set up the first goal in brilliant fashion and calmly scored the second, one senses that the possibilities for this season have energized a player sorely in need of inspiration. The opener, after just 2 minutes and following a half-hour delay due to inclement weather, showcased his ability to play provider. Finding Asensio in space on the right edge of the box with a perfectly weighted outside of the boot pass, we saw the vision and technical ability that made him such a commodity. Then came his turn to score. Dani Carvajal floated a long ball for the Wales international to chase, and once the ball was under his control, Bale was confident with his infield cut and delayed left-foot finish for Real's second goal. Though he was withdrawn after 56 minutes without making an impact in a sub-heavy second half, Bale had once again done enough to give his team another victory and some much-needed fluidity in attack. Bale played a total of 149 minutes in Real's 3 ICC matches, but 2 goals and 1 assist represented a tidy resumption of form for a player who made history in May's Champions League final against Liverpool. Any thoughts as to his suitability for Real should have been put to rest beyond that point, but a strong pre-season following a summer of rest have shown him continue that game-changing form. It speaks volumes of Bale's endless potential, even at 29 years old, that 21 goals and 6 assists in 44 appearances for Real, all competitions, was somehow perceived as not good enough for the demands of the Bernabeu crowd. Perhaps it pales in comparison to Ronaldo's output, but with the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner out of the picture, one would expect Bale's numbers to skyrocket. Bale's injury history: he missed a total of 301 days but just 63 real games since 2013, according to Transfermarkt, could threaten his upward trajectory. But after 5 seasons serving as a productive understudy, the stage is set for him to take charge. While there's still a sense of uncertainty as to whether club president Florentino Perez will make any moves in the wake of Ronaldo's abrupt exit, there should be no such doubts about Bale. Pick 2 International Champions Cup, Gareth Bale, 15 feet Real Madrid 2-0 Roma International Champions Cup, Marco Asensio, 2 feet Real Madrid 1-0 Roma EAST Rutherford, NJ. It's always hard to divine much from pre-season, especially one that's truncated by players away on post-World Cup vacations, extreme amounts of air travel and the need to be mindful about easing back into action after weeks away. Young talent often gets the bulk of the playing time to show whether they belong in the first-team squad or out on loan for the season. Endless subs make it dizzying to track who's playing, and how well. But one player who's very much been central. Sergio Aguero scored twice, including his 200th goal with Manchester City, to lead his club to a 2-0 win over Chelsea and win the Community Shield. London, 3 points from Man City's comfortable 2-0 win over Chelsea in the Community Shield. 1. Man City cruised to easy victory. Ultimately, Sunday's victory wasn't a massive shock, as it was expected that last season's Premier League champions, with a settled squad and genius of a manager, would easily beat a side who started pre-season training with the old coach in charge and have thus barely had time to get used to their new manager, Maurizio Sarri. Still, Manchester City's amble to Atlanta, Joseph Martinez gave his home fans exactly what they expected. Mikel Almiron showed a side of his game that isn't always noticed. Both performances helped a thrown-together all-star side give a strong showing in the MLS All-Star game against Italian powerhouse Juventus. The result will go down as a win for Juventus, with the Bianconeri prevailing on penalties 5-3 after the teams played to a 1-1 tie through 90 minutes Wednesday. And it should be noted that some big stars from both sides, Mark Ogden and Charlie Gibson, discuss how Mourinho and Manchester United need to move forward. Ann Arbor, Michigan. Jose Mourinho is heading for the Sunshine State with Manchester United, but it might be time to be prepared for rain and storms when he arrives in Miami ahead of Tuesday's friendly against Real Madrid. Nothing, it seems, can lighten the United manager's mood right now, and after his team suffered a 4-1 International Champions Cup defeat against Liverpool in Ann Arbor, Florida might want to brace itself for Hurricane Jose later this week. He has cut an unhappy figure throughout. Xherdan Shaqiri comes on in the second half to set up Daniel Sturgeon to score a brilliant bicycle kick as Liverpool take down Manchester United 4-1. Mark Ogden thinks Man City are still the team to beat in the Premier League, but Liverpool have all the pieces in place to bring home the trophy. Jurgen Klopp says Xherdan Shaqiri's first appearance for the Reds surpassed his expectations. Jose Mourinho says he might only add one more player this summer, despite wanting to from a list of 5 targets he gave Manchester United. Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho reflects on the atmosphere at Michigan Stadium and explains why he wouldn't have gone if he were a fan. Mark Ogden and Charlie Gibson discuss how Mourinho and Manchester United need to move forward. Ann Arbor, Michigan. 3 quick thoughts on the whistle from Liverpool's 4-1 International Champions Cup win over Manchester United at Michigan Stadium on Saturday. 1. Win over United whets Liverpool appetites a lot of the time. Pre-season friendlies are uneventful, bland, fitness-building exercises. Liverpool's victory over rivals Man United on Saturday at the second-largest stadium in the world was not one of these occasions. It was a warm-up match that whets the appetite for the start. Mario Götze converted after Christian Pulisic won a penalty kick to lead Borussia Dortmund past Manchester City in an ICC showdown in Chicago. Pep Guardiola says nothing is decided on Joe Hart's future after the English goalkeeper played 45 minutes in Man City's ICC loss to Dortmund. Chicago, with so many of Manchester City's first-team players still to return to pre-season following the World Cup, Riyad Mahrez made his first start for the club in a 1-0 defeat Saturday to Borussia Dortmund in the International Champions Cup among an eclectic lineup of youngsters and ex-loanies with uncertain futures. But in a disjointed game that was more about dusting off the cobwebs of the summer break, the £60 million club record signing offered a glimpse of why Pep Guardiola decided